Hi, everybody. This is Denise at All My Dolls, and welcome to the Doll Studio. Someone in, I think it was the video that was everything I made for Felicity, asked about seeing Felicity's undergarments. And I want to say that I'm pretty sure that when I started dressing her, that I said that she was wearing her American Girl doll um, underpinnings. And so I don't remember if any of that was actually seen when I was dressing her. Now, the number one reason why I didn't talk about Felicity's undergarments is because I didn't make them. And so, 9 times out of 10, when I'm talking about the dolls, I am specifically talking about items that I made because that's kind of the whole point of my channel. Um, Occasionally, when I get a new doll, I review whatever I bought with that doll. But most of the time, it's going to be about the historically appropriate item that I made for the doll or whatever modern outfits I'm making, because that's kind of the whole point of my channel is me making doll clothes. So I never specifically got into Felicity's underpinnings because a quick Google search will show you what her AG underpinnings are. And like I said, I didn't make them. Now, with that caveat, as I go through the historical dolls, and I'm remaking videos. Some of the ones are on the Something Beautiful Handcrafts channel before I made a new channel. And I'm still going to remake them because it's just, I made a lot of stuff between back then and now as I go through the historical periods. And some of the stuff, when I first did those videos, I didn't have those dolls or they disappeared with the other channel. So there are going to be dolls with historical underpinnings that I will go into because I'm going to hand make them, either because I don't own them or AG never actually made them. And to be honest, besides the shifts or slips that the appropriate historical dolls come with, or I know that I think it's Eddie, Cecile, and Mary Ellen that all have some type of hoop or crinoline or some type of underskirt that came in their collection. Most of the dolls, the historical dolls, do not have any historical underpinnings. Like Caroline has a shift, I believe, and she has, I think she has on, does she? Okay, yes. Um, let's see. Josefina, Caroline, I can't think of who else. Addie, Cecile, and Mary Grace all should have on some type of drawers. Oh, Samantha does too, of course. And I assume Nellie, but I can't remember because I don't have anything original of Nellie's. For the most part, so other than shifts and pantaloons and the occasional crinoline or hoop or some type of underskirt, they don't all have on historically accurate, undergarments. That's stuff that you have to make secondhand. So after saying all that, which is like 4 minutes, I didn't mean it to be that long, I'm only generally introducing articles of clothing that I've made myself. And if I didn't make the underpinnings or I didn't make the shift or I didn't make the crinoline, as I'm going through what I've made for the period of the doll, I probably won't mention it too much. I'll just be like a passing, like, this is her AG cap, or these are her AG shoes, or these are her AG tights, not really something I'll introduce. The only caveat is going to be Courtney, because I bought like almost all of Courtney's collection. So when I finally get around to Courtney or putting up the Courtney video, which I've already made like a year ago and haven't put up, you'll see all of her AG stuff because in her case, the video will be more about her collection and less about what I made for her. Okay, so at any rate, let me go ahead and take these clothes off and show you the AG underpinning, just in case you've never seen them before. So the thing about these videos, especially after you've been making them for a while, is that some of the questions I'm asked happened in previous videos. And so they're really kind of dependent on watching the video that is chronologically in front of the other one, because it may have been 3 or 4 videos back where I actually like showed something. And so when I jump into a video, you're like, well, you never showed that. Well, yeah, I did discuss it like 10 videos back. And so it's just kind of one of those things. And I always hate that when I'm consuming where someone will refer to something and I'm like, I have to go searching through like 5 videos to figure out what it is they're talking about. But it's just kind of a thing. So what Felicity is currently wearing, she's wearing her Felicity shift. Now, this particular doll, I have to think about this. Is this my first Felicity? Yes, this is the first Felicity I got off eBay several years ago. And she did not come with any clothing on her body when I got her. So I got her dress, and it's the original Felicity dress, not the Be Forever one, though I'll probably wind up with the Be Forever one at some point or other, because, well, I might. But I think the other one's called the Tea Rose or Rose Tea one. Kind of want that one too. So anyway, this shift that she's wearing is old-ish, okay, at least 20 years old, I'd say. So all the elastic is gone. I, at some point, may put new elastic in, but considering how small that space is, a lot of times it's just more trouble than it's actually worth. I did make her a shift from the patterns, which actually is still on the Something Beautiful Handcrafts channel. So you could go back there and see when I first got Felicity and all of the stuff I made from the patterns. All those pattern videos are still there. I never moved them to the new channel that I accidentally deleted. At any rate, that particular shift is on Elizabeth, because when I got Elizabeth, I didn't have any of her clothing. So Elizabeth is wearing the shift that I made from the patterns, and she's also wearing the Be Forever, any of the Be Forever clothing, because I just happened to pick those up in a lot somewhere. So here is, and you know what? And they always say a pair of stays. So here are her stays. And these are the ones from her original collection. And maybe this video is on Something Beautiful Handcrafts. Maybe it's not. I got a box and it had Josefina and another Felicity, I think it was, and a whole lot of different clothing. And I have always wanted these. When I first found American Girl in 2019, I was teaching about the American Revolution. We were watching Liberty's Kids, and Liberty's Kids does this now, or then and now, or now and then, however they called it. And so Felicity was the first American Girl doll that I came across in 2009. I never bought any of the dolls during that time period, but I remember obsessing over her underpinnings. And even at that time, they were already discontinued, sold out, or whatever. And so I would see them and they would be exorbitant prices. And I was just like, I'm not paying that for a doll. I'm not paying that for clothes. And I never got them until like 2 or 3 years ago, maybe about 3 years ago, maybe 4. And I finally got them in this big lot. And I paid for the lot as much as I would have paid for the underpinnings by themselves. So that was pretty awesome. So at any rate, here she is in her stays. And they're in absolutely excellent condition. I'm going to untie this because I don't even know what this is about, but I'll probably find out in a moment. Sometimes I have to, oh, these are her pockets. It's like sometimes I have to watch my videos myself because I'm like, what was this? These are her AG pockets. Like I said, still all the stuff was in wonderful condition. Stuff is at least 20 years old, maybe 30. Who knows? If you've never seen these AG pockets before, they are beautiful. They are double layered, properly done. If you've never made a pocket, I've made a lot of pockets, people-sized pockets and doll pockets. It's like one of my favorite things to make. And I've worn pockets. And this embroidery is so cute. And here's her pocket. Got another tie right here. Oh, I'm going to take off her bum pad. And this was made by me. And at some point, it's been mentioned in a couple different videos because it's me made. Felicity does have a bum roll, which I actually have. And I think it's on Elizabeth. Either that or I neglected to put it in either one. And it's still in the box with her clothes. But that is actually a thing. So it's somewhere. And these are going to be, this is the string for her hoops, panniers, never quite know how to say them. And I do make sure that all of her dresses are cut with the slit to do both the pockets and the hoops. And they're a pair over here. Maybe one day I'll steam them and starch them. As far as I can tell, they are very historically accurate. But if you want to know the historical accuracy of Felicity's undergarments and her clothes, Lady Rebecca Fashions, who I've been following for years, and I didn't actually realize for years that she was an AG fan. She did a whole series on the historical dolls and their collections and how accurate they are. And I want to say she went all the way up to maybe Kit. She may have gone further, I'm not sure, but I think I remember Kit. Rebecca, it was either Rebecca or Kit she went as far as. And it's a really cool series, especially if you're a historical nerd like me. And so it's just completely cool because the whole point of me with the AG dolls is I wanted to do historical fashions. And so I've been watching her for years. And then the fact that the AG fashions and historical fashions collided on her page was just nerded me out, like the whole thing. So basically, there you have it. Those are the underpinnings that she is wearing. I do not have her historical socks. I don't have her historical garters. So she's just wearing knee-high socks, and I just made elastic garters. I do have a pair of ribbon garters and a pair of clocked socks that I made, but she's not the one wearing them. So chances are Elizabeth is the one who is wearing those. All right, there's your questions about what she's wearing underneath. And my next scheduled video, I'm not sure how long it's going to take me, is going to be Caroline. And I have to sew this stuff. I have the patterns already set. I have some of the fabrics that I think I'm going to use. As you can imagine with Joann's clothing, fabric sourcing is a little more complicated than it was before. And before you say check your thrift stores, if you haven't noticed, I guess it depends on where you're at, most thrift stores are full of junk, fast fashion polyester stuff. So that's not really a thing. So at any rate, we'll see how this goes. Hopefully I will have the stuff up for Caroline maybe after Valentine's Day, or at least I'll show the planning. I have a fiber symposium that I'm doing at the end of this week. And I have an article due for one of the yarn spinning magazines mid-February. So it'll be a little touch and go until then. And I'm also working on the book nook for the parade. So you'll probably hear from me again sometime around the end of February. But take care. And if you're up in the north like me, stay warm. Have a great day.